say like, okay, we use Wormhole once, now we're locked in. We cannot do anything else outside their stack, because the way it's designed is that you always need us, like a bit like Apple does, basically. Like once you start with Apple, you have to buy everything with Apple. We are not that, okay? So what we want is really the best DevX. We want the best DevX, the way basically integrator are the happiest, the fastest. And one thing is very cool with entities that you can add verifier. So at the beginning, the relayer, verifier, and all of that, I show you in the first picture. It's the same here. What a verifier does is that you can use Wormhole verifiers, of course. There is an automatic relayer. You can use us as a verifier. But let's say, for security reason, you decide to not just trust us, but you want to also trust ETHKL, okay? Then you can do that. There's no locking. You can add your own verifier. You can add ETHKL as a third-party verifier. You can use us as a verifier. That will mean that when your token get transferred and they need to get verified, then you will have a 2-to-2 setup, okay? So that means Wormhole relayer and verifier would have to get in, but also ETHKL will have to get it. It's basically what Lido did. Lido did this for the wrap stake ETH on BNB chain, okay? So they were like, okay, we want two type of verifier, and we want you and ETHKL. So the kind of protocol you can see out there, so Lido is using a Puffer, ETHFi, Pike. I mean, there's like, I don't know how many we have now, but lots of protocol are using Entity. And so, yeah, it's standardized interface. You have a custom payload. It's very composable, and it preserves token ownership. And on that point, I just want to say that it is not always the main interest for a team to preserve the token ownership. Some team maybe do not want to have that. Maybe some team they're like, hey, I have this meme coin. I don't care about all of this. I just wanted to list it on your portal bridge, and I want this coin to be able to get transferred to 100+ chain. Okay. Then you don't need to go through entity integration. Like, your point is not, you're not seeing any sort of maybe long-term way for your token, or maybe your team is not necessarily interested on updating, upgrading, having full control over token supply. Like, maybe they don't care about this, okay? In that case, you will go to what we call the most common interop solution, which is a bridge. You go to Portal Bridge, you use Wormhole, it leverages the entire Wormhole protocol, so it's also run by Wormhole. But what's the trade-off here? The trade-off of using a bridge is that then you have a wrapped asset. A wrapped asset is you have your token, and once you list it on the bridge and you basically handle that responsibility to the bridge will create a wrapped version of your asset. And then, therefore, you lose complete ownership over that wrapped version, okay? Because that is delegated to the core contract of the bridge. So whatever is happening to that wrapped asset then on other chain and so on, it is not up to you to change that. Let's say you want to change your metadata. You want to change the image of your token to change it. This wrap version is not up to you any longer. This wrap version is delegated to the core contract bridge, okay? And this is the same for every bridge. Like, it's not just Wormhole. It's a wrap asset. It is not the native asset, just to be clear. So you have some integrator, they come and they're like, oh yeah, I had those guys from NIA, I think. And they were like, oh, we need to change this because now we have this cement locked. It was like a very, like a edge case. We can't do anything for you, mate. Like, it's, I mean, yes, we could go to the validator and tell them you have to revert back, change this, change that, but it's not really, I mean, if you will have 2,000 validator, you will not do that. Maybe with 19 is a bit more manageable, but it is not in our, it is not either in our interest to do this kind of thing. We're not going to ask those big node validator to change a metadata for any random person. Like, it's not possible, okay? So it's very important that when you have a wrap asset and you decide to go for that, you will have to delegate the upgradability, at least, to the token contract, which is the bridge. Connect is a very underrated product, I feel, at this point, because most of the people use it as, oh, I don't have a front end. I have my entity integration that is done, and then I can just, like, with a few lines of code in a React component, integrate Connect. Connect actually leverage the entire Wormhole core messaging. So it's really not just a front end. Like, you can properly use a lot of feature from that NPM package. So it has gasless and gas drop-off. So it's only gas fee on the source chain for Connect. Also, there's only 3 lines of code. And the ideal use case is as I said, you don't want to build a front end, you can use this. There is a lot of set of tools that comes with Connect. We have something called Connect in Style, which is literally you can do anything on the side and you copy paste your config file. It will tell you the config file is correct. It will tell you that it's very. We have made a lot of UI. That has to make the integration of that component. Queries is something I also really like. So queries is cross-chain data retrieval and attestation. Okay, so it is by far one of the most robust and centralized solutions you have out there. But it's for on-chain data. We are not. So gas reduction about 84%. And response time, I think, is 600 milliseconds. So it's very cheap and it's fast. But because basically what it does is data retrieval. So you read the state read of pretty much all the EVM chain, Solana, and maybe Sui. I have to double check if Sui has it. But and so so it's really like as transparent as possible, right? But you will still need to get in touch with us to use it at this point. We are not using, but that would change next month. So for instance, a good use case of queries, it was Wormhole. Wormhole is using queries to fetch the ID on, so the coin IDs, they call the coin IDs. So, the coin ID is, they fetch the ID on Ethereum to actually use it a lot and then transfer it on Solana. So that is one of the use case. JitoSol, so the staking pool is the same. The rate provider for Balancer, actually. So they use queries as well. There's a big one that is going to launch in a few weeks. I'm not supposed to say which team it is, but it is a very big team that is about to use queries. So you will hear it, I think, next week. And basically what queries is, and what I find it's also a bit of a not well-known product, but it is technically a lot more efficient, and it is very interesting. Like it's not an oracle. It's not, you know. So the fact that they can actually do the state read in such a fast and cheap way, and a decentralized way per se, to get like any sort of data multi-chain is a really good one. But the problem is that usually decentralization is not necessarily a priority when a protocol has launched, right? Like, so what usually you get is that protocol wants to go to market and they want to go live as fast as they can. So when it comes to like data retrieval and so on, if they can access certain data with a REST API, and it's maybe easier at this point, or they can use a feature, for instance, that Pith is offering, and that might not have all the set of feature, but just that feature would do for now. Then what you end up having is that the decentralization, is the robustness of the way you query your data usually goes down to the backlog. And yes, it will be better, but they might not do it, okay? And I feel that queries is it's where it is, and I really think it's a cool product from Wormhole. And then just one thing, this is the Wormhole Builder Pass. So we built something that's called the Dev Arena. The Dev Arena is actually a platform for just knowing a bit more about Wormhole. So you have overview track, and you also have 3 guided projects. It's going to be 6 very soon. And basically, each guided project is, we hold your hand to build something. So one of them, for instance, is a lending borrowing protocol. And we use the SDK for it. And the idea is that you understand the concept and you use it straight away while you're building something, okay? But we are kind of teaching at the same time you are building. And not just like we handle a repo, so you're happy you have a working repo of a cool project, but you didn't understand anything about what was happening. So we kind of like doing it a bit synchronously, like that was the idea. Then we will have a side track at the Super Earn, is a Solana hackathon, so that's coming up. And the Sigma build is more like for founders. So if you're a founder, you have a good idea, you want to get part of this incubator, it's milestone based. We have many teams, and it's like there's no deadline. It's like ongoing. People can drop their application, and they can get started. And we build basically a milestone for them technically, and also on go-to-market. This is the Dev Arena, so I really encourage everyone who's interested to have a look. It's super gamified, okay? So I think we're going to release the dashboard next week. So then you have a dashboard, you have points, and you can, if you're a coder, you can do the tutorial, the guides. And if you're just like someone that's interested about the tech, you can just follow the tracks and the overview, and it's very easy. It doesn't take so long, but it gives you a good overview. Yep, this is the builder cheat sheet. If anyone wants to build, or there is any hackathon coming up and you want a multi-chain. So the cheat sheet, I made it. I hope it's fairly complete, but you also have my Twitter and my Telegram, and the other one is the other DevRel. He's much more versed on Solana side. So if you are interested on or you have technical problem with Solana, particularly with Wormhole, you can also reach out to him for sure. Yep. Thank you very much.
So we open for questions now. So who have questions?
Yes.
So, sorry, not a workshop question necessarily, but
yeah.
Do you keep track of the largest bridges, like your biggest competitors, let's say, and how you measure up against them?
Yeah.
Given that the space moves very quickly.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, is that a question?
So that was one, and maybe a second one after that would be what are, if any, thoughts you can share that the team might have about Stripe entering that whole bridge?
So for the first question, yes, of course, you keep track of the competitor. Basically, the main thing that was missing at Wormhole was to have an intent protocol, which we built, actually Mayan built. So Mayan is originally it's a team that we have been working with, and they grew with us. So they have built what we call Wormhole settlement. So it's basically an intent-based protocol that is leveraging Wormhole and Mayan. So that is basically the product that was kind of missing, because you really basically an intent protocol will be something like the bridge or a cross, for instance. So then in other side of the competitor, the thing is layer 0 or Axelar has a different mechanism. So we're not necessarily looking at what exactly they do, but with layer 0, we have a completely, basically the mind share is different. They are very big on the EVM side, and we are the main multi-chain protocol on the Solana side and Sui. So the mind share is very hard. They're obviously trying to get to that side, and we're obviously trying to get to the other side. And it's at the end, it's what the market is. Like if you're the cheapest, the fastest, your UX is the best, your DevX is best, you win the race, right? I mean, it's a difficult race to win because crypto is super competitive. Everything goes so fast. You really have to keep up. And so now, to your second question, Wormhole is definitely be very heavy on getting the institution. So basically, we are with BlackRock, Apollo, Centrifuge. So we are the main Centrifuge, for instance. I think we're the main multi-chain protocol. So basically, any sorts of RWA asset will go through Wormhole. It's a huge market. They're coming up. Stripe buying bridge is just crazy. Like it's, I mean, when you work in crypto, you're really excited to see this kind of things because it kind of gives you, you're excited, yes, I know, because if you're a bit of a degen, maybe using stablecoin from via Stripe is maybe the most exciting things you wish for. But at the same time, I think the adoption has to come. So it will come through probably the institution for sure, but that is still not mass adoption. And the mass adoption will need some time to come, I think. We're still, unfortunately, a bit far from it. I mean, it really depends where you are in the world. Like, I think we have seen, we've been to LATAM a lot, and we see how crazy it is if you live in Argentina or you live in, like, Venezuela and so on. Like, these people have been using, like, the grandmother know what USDT is on stablecoin. Like, she knows because she uses it, right? So it's also very exciting to see how certain countries are using it, and like what are the actual everyday life use case in certain country that, you know, maybe in Europe you don't see the same, or in Asia you see different ones. So I definitely like the momentum. I think institutions are going to bring a huge thing to us. Whether or not they would help building more than 5% yield on stablecoin, I don't know. I hope so, because I think that industry has a lot more. Like, I'm a huge Ethereum maxi from the start. So, but yeah, it's part of this industry. You don't exactly know from one cycle to another. The DeFi summer was crazy, and we are not in a DeFi summer at all. We have BlackRock now, so not the same vibe, but yes, I think it's still exciting. Yeah. Any other? Yes.
Earlier on your screen, you showed most of the volume comes from Ethereum to Solana.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's like not equally the same on the way back, or have a bigger share on the way back?
You mean from Solana to Ethereum?
Yeah.
Why is it? I think there's less liquidity. Oh, it is. I mean, this one shows the source being Ethereum, but it's just because Ethereum has more liquidity. I think that's. But for sure, from Solana side, definitely Wormhole has the biggest amount of asset transfer, no doubt. It's like, I mean, it's very funny. This thing. When I started working at Wormhole, so I came from the EVM side, and my colleague was hired as a Solana developer, okay? So it's like basically the duo of, you know, made in heaven for Wormhole, right? Like, and so I remember him walking into the first, maybe it was token 2049, and so at the same time it was breakpoint. And then he went into token, and at this point we're still, like the mind share on the EVM side was so little, like even a year ago for us, that we had to explain what we were all the time. It's like, Wormhole, oh, you guys have what, like a bridge? Like you know, like very, no, I have no idea what you guys had. And you walk into Breakpoint, which is like Solana biggest conference, everybody knew us. We had the bigger booth, the biggest stand, like, oh, you Wormhole team, like it. And I could not believe it because I came from the EVM side, and for me, Axeler, Layer 0 were somehow the thing. Like Wormhole was like very, not something I would say most of the EVM dev will use, right? On the Solana side, they do not use anything else, I guarantee you. Like they, very little. I mean, we will have to really lower the quality of the product a lot for them to. There is a sort of, also I found that in ecosystem like Sui or Solana, or like when you have not the EVM, because EVM people have a lot more choices. But on Solana and Sui, for instance, people are very loyal to certain product or certain solution, and they intend to, once they like it, and if the protocol and the ecosystem has really pushed for it, they intend to use that always so yeah, I can guarantee you that on the other side, when it's on the Solana side, for sure, most of the asset transfer go through Wormhole, 100%, yeah.
Sorry, another follow-up question.
Yeah.
So regarding fragmentation and the native token transfers, right? Would there be a reason why, or I mean, let's say I deploy a new token. I don't have any use case to have that token in, say, Base, for example.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But because of entity, I can transfer that.
You could. So basically, the way entity works is that it goes into those few steps. You deploy your token natively on your chain. Let's say your user, because that's also something that people need to understand. You go multi-chain for a few reasons. You want to increase your TVL, you want to grow your user base, or you want to find like different use cases for your token, okay? That is the reason you go multi-chain. So if, for instance, you tell me, okay, I'm doing a game on Sui, okay? But you might not want to have, I don't know, I'm saying something random, maybe it's a bit, but maybe you are not interested at all on having a user on Celo, let's say, because they're not the targeted audience, but you're super interested in having people on Solana, for instance. Then what you would do is that you would deploy your token. So natively, your token is on, what did we say, on Sui. And your token is on Sui, then you would natively deploy it because it's already deployed, right? And then you would deploy it once, let's say on Solana, and once on Base, because these two chains are the one where you think your user are, and this is where you want to go. So you don't have to deploy it to 40 chain. You can, but that is the point. You can scale it if you need later on to, oh man, there is a huge gaming community that come out of Avalanche. Well, then you deploy on Avalanche, you know. But yeah, you only need where you only go where you need to go, right? You don't need to. But with entity, it's a possibility. If you need to scale it to different chain, you can. Yeah.
Any questions? Oh, I have one actually.
Yes.
So recently, like on Twitter CT, there's this term of like unlocking Bitcoin liquidity.
Yeah.
So just curious, like from as Wormhole, like how do you guys view this type of notions?
Yeah. So actually, I was thrown under the bus at a panel in East Denver by the gross lead that needed to was sick, or I don't remember what it was. And I've been thrown on the panel last minute for expanding L2, Bitcoin L2 liquidity, fragmentation, whatever it was. I was like, oh my God. So the thing is, the Bitcoin ecosystem is very different because the maxi, nothing is good enough for them. right? So the people that actually own the biggest amount of Bitcoin and they are super maxi, they don't want to send their Bitcoin anywhere. They don't care how much are safe. They don't see the point. They don't want it. They want to hold it, and that's it. And so the idea is now, because we have also all those institutions buying all the big chunk of Bitcoin, so I think it's important, and this is why like Babylon and Bob and so on, all those like L2 Bitcoin, what they're trying to do basically is that they are trying to find use case for Bitcoin to be used as a utility rather than a commodity, right? It's honestly, so far what I've seen, and I'm really good friend with all those DevRel, right? So we discuss about that, but it's what is very difficult is that, okay, so it's a bit, to me it feels a bit far-fetched in the sense that if you need to use those Bitcoin on this, like let's take Bob for instance. Bob, basically what they do is that everything ran on EVM. It's an EVM, like any sort of transaction. The only thing is that I think, I mean, I'm not a specialist on that, but they take your Bitcoin and from that they either store it, or I don't know exactly what they do, but then after all, what happened next is just EVM transaction there. And so, yes, of course, we need to make sure that anyone who holds Bitcoin and want to transfer it from one chain to another should be able to, but it is not, first, it's not easy to do. And second, I am not sure, when you see how much it is, how much it brings back to you to just hold, would you actually take the chance to, I don't know, use your Bitcoin as a utility for certain, I mean, I don't know, I'm not specialized on that, but right now I see it a bit difficult to, but again, the fragmentation, liquidity fragmentation is the same problem. You need to make sure that if we have Bitcoin and we can transfer them, we cannot have what is happening with the rest of the L2, because it's very difficult. Like the more fragmented, the more difficult it is for the market to actually use those liquidity. Like you end up with so many places, like so many decks that they just so low in liquidity, like they're constantly trying to get more and more. So, but for the Bitcoin, I don't know. I see we're gonna see what they can pull out, all those chain. I think it's a good bet, honestly. Babylon is doing well. Like but I don't know if they're gonna find the user and the developer for that. If you have, okay, let's say one thing that would be appealing, if you would give me a really good yield or staking yield for Bitcoin that is safe and I don't have to move it around too much. I mean, I don't know, but like, I don't know. And I'm not a maxi. I don't even discuss with that. But yeah, I think it's a tough one for sure.
Kind of a personal question, if
Yeah.
you don't mind answering.
Yeah.
Given you're someone who's from EVM and then you move to the SVM world, like.
Well, actually, Wormhole is agnostic.
Okay,
we
but
not,
you're much more involved with the SVM
yes,
ecosystem.
I'm more involved with Solana. Yes.
Than you were before. Like, do you have any personal thoughts on like the cultural differences between the two?
Yeah, actually, I'm still like a bit. It's really the absolute best part of working in Interop is that I actually gave a workshop for a Sui Hacker House 2 weeks ago. Like, it's the fact that you need to make sure that you understand. That you need to make sure you understand each ecosystem. Like, you cannot just. And Wormhole do not want to only be associated to Solana, because you need to send the liquidity somewhere. Like it doesn't, it's not. So we have a good relationship with Solana, but also it's very important for us that we support other ecosystem. And it's true that Solana has a very particular vibe, and that I didn't know, that I had to learn and so on. But I think honestly, the way they managed to build community around the world is really unmatched. And like the super team is just like how many protocols have spent millions of trying to build developer community, and they fail. I mean, I'm not talking about even this run, like the previous, like some chain have disappeared from it. It's very difficult to build a developer community and to have like a very loyal sentiment towards an ecosystem. And Solana has really done that. Like it's that for that it's unmatched for sure. And I feel that the Ethereum ecosystem has brilliant people, like brilliant mind, and for sure the researching part is just crazy. But it's true that it's also fragmented. Like that is the problem of having too many L2s. I think is if each protocol, and I came from a protocol that was an L2 and mental, but if all of us try to build our own developer community in the same way that you would do for Solana or Sui, do you understand the amount of developer you need? Like we don't have those developers. Like we are all fighting for the same 20K devs that have been around and around and around. And do we try to get more Web2 devs? But the Web2 dev will come if there is users. They will come if there is more protocol. They will come. If they are not here, it's not because I work in Web2 before, and I have a lot of friends who, and this is a story I've heard a lot among my friends working in Web3, but a lot of my old friends, like developers, they ask also how's the blockchain, has Web3, they even like keen to try like some blockchain course and so on, but they don't move from it. They don't move because they still think it's maybe not sustainable, and it's a crazy space to work in. Like I have to say, I don't know if we will all finish completely sane in the end, we'll see. But it's a crazy space to work, so you also need to like it. And at this point, it's not that it's not mature, but it's also not for everyone. It's like working in a very high pace startup constantly, and like market change and stuff like move. And so, but yeah, I think the Solana ecosystem has done like, it has proved themselves as one of the leader, definitely. And they are, the foundation has a bunch of really good people too, so yeah. Yes, any more questions?
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Let's give a round of applause to Pauline.
Yeah, thank you.
So right now we have about like 30+ minutes for networking. So let's have pizzas.